Hello, this is Noreen from Joy of Cards, and today we're going to be making this really pretty Christmas card made from so many stars. And Itty Bitty Christmas, we're going to be using the Joy to the World thing. And then the dies we're going to be using are from Ornate Frames. These two here, the large and the smaller one, and that's going to be around the sentiment on the front. And then also we're going to be using stitch stars. We're going to be using the largest stitch star here and the 5th largest one of just the frame, and then we're going to be using the largest of this detailed frame here as well. So let's go ahead and get started. It's typical 5.5 by 4.25. Now this is pretty peacock, so that is our base, and we're going to start with the inside first. And what we're going to be using is also copper, and then the other paper is from Brightly Gleaming as well on the front. So that's all the papers. So the first one we're going to cut is the copper, and you want to get this as close to the size of the card as possible. So that would be, I got this at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then this copper foil has this plastic kind of backing. If you've ever die cut it on this, you would notice there's a piece of plastic film. Anytime you die cut, like on all these little, well, this one here on the front, try to pull that plastic off. And then of course, be careful when you are die cutting any of the copper. The best thing to use on the copper would be your little sidekick, because you don't get as many scratches on the foil. If you do have a Big Shot Plus where they don't make that pad so you don't scratch up your foil, go ahead and use like a piece of just regular copy paper on the bottom of the die, your regular paper so when it cuts and everything, and then another piece of regular paper. So anyway, so let's go ahead and nail this down. Now, since that does have that copper coating on the foil, you really have to push down hard on your tape here to get the nail to stick. So just push down really hard and go ahead and line that up as much as you can. Okay, and then for the pretty peacock, this sheet of paper is going to be cut at 3.75 by 5. And then in the Stitch Stars dies, they have these really neat little dies like this. And what we're going to do in order to make this star cut out like that, you have to line them up like this, these two corners here, this two corners, these two corners here, and these two corners there. And then I would washi them. Go ahead and washi that down and put it through your die cutting machine. And the reason why you washi tape them down is so they don't move, because we're really trying to make this star inside the card here, and it's really kind of neat. I kind of liked how it turned out, so I went ahead and did that for you. Magic of video snap, and here we are. So I mean, that really does a cool job. And what I also did is I took the little pieces that were cut on the inside like this, and I took my rubber pad here, my gluing pad, and used my fine tip glue. This is the best glue. It doesn't clog. It's beautiful. And I just put little dots of the glue inside, and then I lined them up with the cut like so. So they're like inlaid. So that's how I made that. And these are really fun. So next, we're going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. Now, every time I use something that is, you know, it's got a pretty good size to it. Now, and this sentiment comes from your So Many Stars, and it's the Sending You Love and Plenty of Cheer right there. And I've already gone ahead and lined it up on my Stamparatus. If you don't have a Stamparatus, get one. That's all I can tell you, get one, because sometimes when you stamp with a block, you know, that first stamp just doesn't go on right. You don't get that darkness that you want from it. And with the Stamparatus, you can stamp it many times and it'll be in the same place. There's no way you can stamp with a block and reline up the block. That would require some amazing talent. Anyway, so we're going to use, the only ink we're going to use is this Night of Navy, which is another super popular ink. So I went ahead and opened that, and I've already lined up my stamp because I've done a few of these because I generally make a bunch before I even do it, and then stamp, and then we need to stamp again and make sure it's on there really dark, and that looks good. So that's why you use the Stamparatus. And then we're going to put this to the side, and we're going to do what? We're going to close our box. Close your boxes. If you don't, you're going to just, you're asking for it to have something get put in it and ruin your project. So that's the inside of the card. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our paper brightly gleaming, and we're going to cut this 4 1/4 by 5 3/8, and then you're going to take your largest die and you're going to die cut the middle like so. And I went ahead and did that for you already. So you take that star and you get this nice little star. I could have put this on the inside, and I thought I really wanted to use these dies so we can use this for another project. So I'm going to put that to the side, and then I'm going to snail up the card, and I'm going to put it down. This one's a little tricky because you've already cut that great big star in the middle, so kind of line it up. Get my thing out of the way. All right, so that looks great. And then I also, with my largest star, I cut on the copper foil this star. So after you do that, go ahead and push real hard on your snail. Don't forget that copper has that plastic stuff. And then I'm going to inlay this as well and put it right in the middle so it's nice and flat, just like so. So now we're going to go ahead and take our third largest star, and we're going to cut it in that pretty peacock again. And notice there is a front and back. If you can see the stitches, that's the front. If it looks like the pokey holes, that's the back. And we're going to take it and snail it up, and we're going to put it onto our copper like so. Then we're going to take our largest detailed star, and we're going to take our fine tip glue, and we're going to glue it. We're not going to snail it because if we snail, the sticky part will poke through. Oopsie, too much. Will poke through and attach to the envelope and all kinds of stuff. So you definitely want to glue it, and don't snail it. And grab it with your tweezers, and then you can really line it up kind of nice, just like so. Great. And then we need to finish off that star by putting on the rhinestones here, and just put that rhinestone right there. And now we're going to go ahead and take from our ornate frames these two frames, the largest and the smaller one, and we're going to cut in the copper from the largest, and then we're going to take that pretty peacock and do the smaller one. And on the pretty peacock, I'm going to go ahead and just use my block to go ahead and stamp. Now the stamp, the sentiment is from the Itty Bitty Christmases, which is right here, Joys to the World. We're going to open up our Night of Navy again, and we're going to tap, 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 tap gently. Don't squish, don't rock, just tap, tap, tap. And then line this up, and I'm using my pad here because that's, even though it's got a pad on it, I just like using the pad anyway. I guess it's made more for the ones that don't have that orange cushion on it, but I like it. So I'm going to put a good, nice, even pressure, pull it up, and it's perfect. And then we're going to take our ink, and we are going to close that up because, I'll ruin something with that. So put this to the side, and we're going to take some dimensionals, like 2 of them, I think. 2 of the large ones. I like the mini ones too. Those are very useful. And they even have black mini ones, so if you've got something really small and got it against that basic black paper, it won't show through. It's awesome. And you just put that on like so, and snail this up. Take your card and put it on. And that's it. That's the whole card. So this is kind of really neat to use that inlay technique, and it's very pretty simple. The colors are great because there's copper in the brightly gleaming. And so that's it. And if you could do me a favor and subscribe to my channel, that'd be awesome. I post like 3 videos a week. It's going to be really challenging because my daughter just had a baby and it was premature and she's in the hospital. So anyway, I might skip Tuesday, I'm not sure, but that's it. I subscribe to my channel, and I've also got links if you want to go to Stampin' Up directly and place an order. And that's all. Merry Christmas. Bye.